Welcome to the Online Digital Marketing Podcast. We'll be discussing marketing strategies, trends, and tips that will help your business succeed in the digital age. Every episode, we'll be interviewing industry professionals and providing valuable insights on how to leverage digital tools for maximum engagement and ROI. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on the latest trends in online marketing.
All right. So you guys want to talk digital marketing?
Let's do it.
Okay. Cool. We got a YouTube video somebody sent in, and it's dense.
It's a lot.
It's like a whole course.
Yeah, it really is. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose.
Yes, exactly. It's a fire hose of information. But that's what we're here for. We're going to break it down into something useful.
Actionable.
Yes.
Right.
Give me a place to start here, because they jump right into this idea that, like, marketing is not advertising. And it's like, what?
Huge misconception.
Yeah.
So many people think.
What else is there if not advertising?
Right. It's like saying cooking is just turning on the oven.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you need the oven, but
There's so much more to it.
you got to, like, you know what you need?
Ingredients.
Ingredients. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
The video actually uses that analogy.
Okay.
They're like, it's like baking a cake. You need the right ingredients and the right amounts.
Okay.
And they break it down into these 4 Ps. Have you heard of this?
Oh, yeah. The 4 Ps of marketing: product, price, place, promotion.
You got it.
Okay.
You do know marketing.
Okay. So let's break down the 4 Ps, product being the first one.
And this is a big one.
Why?
Because it's not enough to just have a great product.
Okay.
You really have to understand how it fulfills your customers' needs.
Yeah.
You know, what problem does it solve for them? How does it make their life better?
Give me an example of that, because I feel like that's something that's easy to say.
Right.
It's hard to actually put into practice.
Okay. So they actually use Spotify as an example.
Okay.
Which I thought was clever, because you've got all these music platforms out there, right?
Yeah.
But Spotify, what they do that's a little different is they tap into how you feel
Okay.
when you listen to music.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've got all the genres and stuff, but they're like, okay, do you want to relax? Do you want to study? Do you want to work out? They've got curated playlists based on mood, and that is understanding your customer.
Okay. Because now you're not selling just music. You're selling a feeling. You're selling
An experience.
an experience.
Yes, exactly.
I like that. What about the place P?
Okay, so place is all about making it easy for people to actually find and buy your product.
Okay.
So is it an online store? Is it a physical location? Are you partnering with other businesses to expand your reach?
So, like, if I make handmade jewelry,
Okay.
my place could be Etsy.
It could.
Or like craft fairs.
Yes.
Little pop-up shops.
Partnering with local boutiques even.
Oh, okay.
That kind of thing.
It makes sense.
So it's about meeting those customers where they are
Okay.
and making it as convenient as possible for them to get their hands on whatever it is you're selling.
Okay. Love it. All right. Price. This one always stresses me out.
I know, right? Everyone's got an opinion about pricing.
Right. Because you're trying to make sure you're covering your cost and making a profit, but you're also like, well, is this something people are actually going to buy at this price point?
Right. It's a balancing act for sure.
It is.
But the video emphasizes this concept of perceived value.
Oh, interesting.
So if people believe that what you're offering is high quality,
Okay.
that it solves a big pain point for them.
Right.
They might be willing to pay more for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not just about the numbers on a spreadsheet.
Okay.
It's about the value that you're communicating.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And then promotion, the fun one.
Right. This is where a lot of people think marketing begins and ends. But as we've seen,
Just one piece.
it's one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, like, shouting your product's features from the rooftops anymore.
No.
Because consumers today are savvy. They've heard it all. They're bombarded with messages,
Constantly.
right? So you've got to cut through the noise.
Give me an example. How do you cut through the noise?
Okay. Well, they actually use a really good example in the video.
Okay.
Do you remember Red Bull Stratos?
Oh, yeah. The guy who jumped from space.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Red Bull Talk about a masterclass in promotion.
Okay. So how is that good promotion, though?
Okay, so you've got this incredible feat skydiving from the edge of space.
Right.
It's talk about unforgettable. And it's directly tied to Red Bull's brand image of pushing limits. You know what I mean?
Okay. It's not just a drink.
Right. It's a feeling.
Yes.
This whole
Aspirational even.
experience.
Exactly. They understand that people connect with emotions, not just facts and figures.
Okay.
They've created a brand that people want to be a part of.
Wow.
So it's like, how can you create those kinds of emotional connections with your audience?
Yeah.
What story are you telling?
And I think this is where it's like, we could sit here and talk about this stuff all day long, but like, you need a plan.
Right. You can't just wing it.
No.
You need a roadmap.
Yeah.
That's what they talk about in this video, like having a solid marketing plan.
So it's not just about posting on Instagram when you feel like it.
No,
There's
no.
going to be some strategy behind it.
Exactly. And it all starts with understanding where you are right now. What's your current situation? Who are you? What do you offer? Who are your competitors? Get clear on that foundation first. And then you got to know your customer too, right?
Yes. They talk about this whole concept of buyer personas.
Okay.
And they even give this example of Penny the lawyer. Have you heard of this?
No. Tell me about Penny the lawyer. What is this?
So Penny is your ideal customer.
Okay.
Let's say you're a fashion brand.
Mm-hmm.
She's busy. She values her time. She loves fashion.
Okay.
But she hates the hassle of traditional shopping.
I feel like I know Penny.
Right. You probably do know a Penny.
Okay.
But the point is, when you really flesh out this picture of your ideal customer,
Okay.
it's like you're speaking directly to her.
It makes it so much easier.
Right. It's not just this vague, oh, I'm trying to reach everybody.
Right. Which never works.
Does it work?
Yeah.
You've got to get specific.
So you're saying if I know that my ideal customer is Penny the lawyer, I'm going to market to her differently than if it's like
Totally.
the mechanic or whatever.
Exactly. Because their needs are different.
Yeah.
Their pain points are different. The way they consume information is different. So yeah, you've got to tailor your message accordingly.
Okay. So we've talked about the 4 Ps. We've talked about your ideal customer. Are there different types of marketing we need to be thinking about as well?
Oh yeah, good point. This video breaks down some of the different approaches you can take.
Okay. Like what? Give me the rundown.
Well, you've got digital marketing, which is obviously a huge umbrella.
Yeah.
But even within that, you've got SEO, social media marketing, email marketing, paid advertising, content marketing. It goes on and on.
Okay.
But then you've also got more traditional approaches like direct mail,
Okay.
which some people think is dead, but it can still be effective.
Right.
And then there's influencer marketing's huge these days. And even those more, attention-grabbing kind of guerrilla marketing stunts.
Like the Red Bull jump.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Lots of different tools in the toolbox.
So how do you know which one to use? Or I guess maybe you use all of them.
Well, the key is to choose the approach that aligns with your goals, your target audience, and your budget.
Makes sense.
And they actually give some good real-world examples in the video. Do you want to hear about those?
Yeah. Give me an example.
Okay. So they talk about HubSpot. Have you heard of them?
Yeah. They do like CRM and...
Yeah, all that stuff. But they're really known for mastering this thing called inbound marketing.
Okay.
So essentially, they offer tons of valuable content for free.
Okay.
Blog posts, ebooks, webinars, you name it.
So you go there looking for information.
Exactly.
Okay.
They establish themselves as a trusted authority.
Okay.
And then they kind of gently guide those leads towards their paid offerings.
So instead of feeling like you're being sold to, you feel like you're actually learning something.
Exactly. And who doesn't love free, valuable information?
Right. Nobody's going to say no to that.
So it's a win-win.
Okay. I like it. What else? What other examples?
Okay, so on the flip side, they talk about Daniel Wellington,
Who are they?
the watch company.
Okay.
You've probably seen their ads on Instagram. They kind of blew up a few years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
And their strategy was all about influencer marketing.
Interesting.
So they partnered with all these Instagrammers
Okay.
to showcase their products.
Does that always work, though? Because I feel like sometimes I see these influencer things, I'm like, this feels so forced.
Totally. And that's actually a key takeaway from this example.
Okay.
It's not just about sending free stuff to anyone with a pulse and a large following.
Okay.
They chose influencers very strategically. They had to align with their brand aesthetic,
Okay.
their target audience.
Mhm.
So it felt authentic,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't just some random celebrity endorsement. It felt genuine. It resonated with their audience.
That makes sense.
And I think that's a good lesson for any kind of marketing you do.
Okay.
It's not just about reaching the most people.
Great.
It's about reaching the right people,
Okay.
making sure your message resonates with them.
And speaking of reaching the right people at the right time, this video talks about something called the marketing funnel.
Ah, yes. the funnel. It's a class.
Okay, but help me visualize this, because is this like an actual funnel? What are we talking about here?
Okay, so imagine like an upside-down triangle.
Okay.
Wide at the top, narrow at the bottom.
Got it.
And people are moving through this funnel at the top.
Okay.
Guess your widest audience. These are people who are just becoming aware of a problem or a need.
So they're like doing Google searches.
Yes. They're searching for solutions. Maybe they're on social media and they see an ad that catches their eye.
Okay.
But they're not quite sure what they're looking for yet. They're just starting to explore.
So this is like super early stages.
Very top of the funnel. TOFU, we call it.
TO, yeah.
Top of funnel.
Okay.
So at this stage, you don't want to hit them with a hard sell.
No.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
This is where you offer helpful, informative content that answers their questions,
Okay.
builds trust, positions you as a resource. Think blog posts, educational videos, maybe even quizzes related to your field. The goal is just to pique their interest and draw them further into your world.
Okay, so you're not like, buy my thing, buy my thing. It's more like, hey, I have some information that might be useful to you. Come check it out.
Exactly.
Huh.
Subtle, but effective.
All right. So they've moved past the TOFU stage. What's next?
Okay, so once they're intrigued and they start actively researching solutions, they move to the middle of the funnel. MOFU.
MOFU, middle of funnel.
Got it. So now they're more engaged.
Okay.
They're more invested.
They're considering their options.
Exactly. They're comparing different products or services.
Okay.
And they're getting closer to a decision. This is where you can offer more targeted materials.
Like what?
Think case studies,
Right.
product demos, webinars, things that showcase your expertise and a value that you offer.
Okay. So like they're interested in learning more about how you can help them solve their problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're building a case for why your solution is the right choice.
Okay.
And then finally, we reach the bottom of the funnel, BOFU,
BOFU.
bottom of funnel.
These are the people ready to buy.
These are your hottest leads. They just might need that final nudge.
Okay. So how do you give them that nudge?
Well, this is where things like free trials,
Oh, yeah.
demos, consultations, even special offers can be very effective.
Limited time only.
Exactly. Create that sense of urgency.
Okay.
So, yeah, the marketing funnel. It's a journey.
It is.
And you want to be there for your customers every step of the way.
With the right message at the right time.
You got it.
Okay. So tell me more about, I feel like you're dancing around something with these leads and we haven't
Well,
quite.
you mean MQLs and sequels?
Yeah. What are those?
Okay, so those are just fancy acronyms.
Yeah, I don't love an acronym.
Don't let them intimidate you.
Okay.
So MQL stands for Marketing Qualified Lead.
Okay. What does that mean?
So this is someone who's shown interest in your business.
Okay.
They've maybe downloaded something, visited your website, filled out a form,
Okay.
but they're not quite ready to buy yet.
Okay.
It's still in that, top or middle of the funnel.
Got it.
So you're going to nurture them,
Yeah.
give more information,
Okay.
warm them up a bit. And then you've got your sequels,
Okay.
sales qualified leads.
This is a hot lead.
These are the ones who are like, okay, I'm ready to talk. Let's do this.
Give me an example of like what would qualify someone as a hot lead versus just a regular lead.
So maybe they requested a quote.
Okay.
They downloaded a pricing guide.
Okay.
They contacted your sales team directly.
Mm.
Those are all pretty strong signals.
So they're raising their hand.
Exactly. They're like, hey, I'm interested. Tell me more.
Okay.
And this is where marketing and sales need to work together really closely.
Okay.
Because marketing's job is to nurture those MQLs, warm them up, get them ready, and then hand them off to sales as sequels.
Okay.
So it's a team effort.
I like it. Teamwork. Okay. So now that we've got these leads coming in, we need to make sure that we're putting our message in front of them in the right places.
Okay. So are you thinking social media?
I am.
That's a big one.
It is, but it's also overwhelming because you've got Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and it's like,
It's a lot to keep up with.
yeah.
But the key is to not try to be everywhere at once.
Okay.
Choose the platform where your target audience is hanging out.
Okay.
And the video actually does a good job of breaking down some of the pros and cons of the different platforms.
All right. Let's talk about them. Let's start with the OG Facebook. Is Facebook still relevant?
It's funny you say that because I was just reading an article
Okay.
that was like, is Facebook dead?
Yeah.
And you know what? It's not.
Okay.
It might not be the shiny new thing anymore,
Right.
but it still has a massive user base.
Okay.
And their targeting options are incredible.
What does that mean?
So you can get really specific with your advertising.
Okay.
You can target people based on their demographics, their interests, their behaviors.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
So you're not just putting an ad out there and hoping that the right person sees it. You can actually...
Laser focus.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so Facebook.
Yeah.
Got it. What about Instagram? Because I feel like that one's
Very visual.
very visual. Yeah.
So if you have a product or service that's, aesthetically pleasing,
Okay.
Instagram is a great platform to showcase that.
Okay, so like food,
Fashion.
travel, all that stuff.
Exactly. High quality photos,
Okay.
engaging videos.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game on Instagram.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got Facebook, we've got Instagram. Where else should we be?
Well, we can't forget about Twitter.
Right? Oh, yeah. Good old Twitter. What's Twitter good for these days?
They actually make a good point in the video about how Twitter is all about real-time information.
Okay.
So if you want to be a part of current events
Yep.
or conversations that are happening right now,
Okay.
it can be a great platform to connect with your audience in a timely way.
So if you're like a news organization.
Yes. Or a brand that's really in tune with current events, Twitter could be a good fit.
Okay. What about LinkedIn? Because I feel like nobody ever talks about LinkedIn.
LinkedIn's the quiet giant.
Really? Yeah.
If you're a B2B company,
Business to business.
LinkedIn is your best friend.
Okay. Why?
It's the place to connect with professionals,
Okay.
decision makers.
Yeah.
It's all about networking,
Makes sense.
building those relationships.
Okay. So we've covered the old guard. What about these new platforms like TikTok? That's what all the kids are using these days.
Right, TikTok. It's the Wild West out there.
But it's also where everybody's attention is.
True, very true. Especially if you're trying to reach a younger demographic.
Okay.
TikTok is a powerhouse.
What makes it so powerful? What do they do differently?
It's all about short-form video content.
Okay.
Really catchy, really engaging, and their algorithm is incredible at serving people content they're actually interested in.
So your ads don't feel so much like ads.
Ideally.
Yeah.
You want them to blend in with the organic content.
Okay. So that it doesn't feel so jarring when somebody's scrolling through their feed.
Exactly. You don't want to interrupt their flow.
Right.
You want to become a part of it.
Okay. So I'm sensing a theme here. Across all these platforms,
What's that?
this isn't about interrupting people with your message. This is about
Meeting them where they are.
Yeah.
Providing value.
and making it engaging.
Exactly. No one wants to see a boring ad.
Nobody. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the 4 Ps, the marketing funnel, MQL, sequels, a crash course in social media. Where do we even go from here?
Well, luckily this video is a goldmine of information.
Okay, good, because I have more questions.
And I have more answers. So buckle up.
Okay.
We've got a lot more to unpack.
All right, I'm ready. Let's do it. But before we jump into the next thing, we have to talk about these mistakes people make.
Oh, yeah. Everybody makes them.
What are some of the biggest ones? Because I know I've made a few.
So one thing they really emphasize is don't tweak your social media ads too much.
Really?
Yeah, I know. It's so tempting.
Because you're like, come on, I'm not seeing the results.
Exactly. But they're like, you got to give it time. You need enough data to actually see what's working and what's not.
So you're saying, like, don't just change it every 5 minutes?
No, because then you don't know what moved the needle.
Okay.
Got to be patient. Analyze the data and then make adjustments. Otherwise, you're just shooting in the dark. Another mistake is trying to do too much at once.
You mean like launch a new product and try to gain 1 million followers? And
Exactly. Like you're spreading yourself too thin.
Yeah.
Focus on one thing at a time.
Okay.
Nail it and then move on to the next thing.
Okay. So it's like, what do they always say?
What's that?
You can do anything. You just can't do everything.
There you go.
Okay.
Focus is key. Another big one.
Mm-hmm.
A/B testing. Have you heard of this?
Oh, yeah. Test different versions of things.
Exactly.
See what works better.
But they're saying don't just launch a new landing page without testing it.
Okay. Test those headlines.
Headlines, images, calls to action, all of it.
It makes sense because you think it sounds good in your head.
And then nobody clicks on it.
Exactly.
So A/B testing is super important.
Okay, I'm writing all this down.
And then one more thing while we're on the topic of websites.
Yeah.
Mobile responsiveness.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
So important these days.
Because everyone's on their phone.
Everyone.
If your website doesn't look good on a phone, it's a deal breaker.
People are bouncing.
They're gone.
Yeah.
So make sure your website is mobile friendly.
Okay. So we've covered the what, we've covered the how, but there's one element we haven't really talked about, and that's engagement.
Ah, yes. Engagement.
Oh.
The holy grail of digital marketing.
Okay. So it's not enough to just get your message in front of people.
Well,
You want them to actually engage with it.
you want them to like it, share it, comment on it,
Click on it.
ideally buy something.
Yeah, but how do you actually make that happen?
Okay, so they have this great little framework. They call it the 4 E's of engagement.
Hit me with these E's.
Okay, so E number 1, excellence,
Okay, so like be good at what you do.
basically. But it's more than that. It's about going above and beyond,
Okay,
delivering exceptional quality in everything you do.
so like your products, your services, your content.
All of it. You want people to be like, wow, that was amazing.
Okay. All right, what's E number 2?
Empathy.
Okay, so put yourself in your customer's shoes,
Exactly.
understand their needs.
Their pain points.
Yeah.
What matters to them, not just what you want to sell them.
Because people can sniff out a phony a mile away.
Oh, yeah. They can tell if you're just trying to make a quick buck.
Totally.
Uh,
Okay, what's the next E?
exclusivity.
Okay, so now I'm picturing like velvet ropes and, exclusive clubs.
Not quite.
Okay.
It's not about being exclusionary. It's about making your audience feel valued and special.
Give me an example.
Okay, so think. Personalized recommendations,
Mm.
exclusive discounts for your loyal customers, early access to new products or content.
Oh, early access. I love that.
It's like a little sneak peek behind the scenes.
Makes you feel special.
Exactly. Okay, and the final E,
Hit me.
e-commerce.
Okay, so like driving sales.
Ultimately,
Yeah.
yes. But it's not just about the sale. It's about building those long-term relationships with your customers.
Okay, so that they become repeat customers.
Exactly. And they tell their friends
Word of mouth.
the best kind of marketing.
It is. Because you can't buy that kind of authenticity.
Exactly. So engagement,
Mm.
it's a big deal.
It is. But how do you know if it's working? Like, how do you actually measure engagement?
Good question. And that's where those KPIs we talked about come back into play.
Okay, so not just website traffic and sales.
Right. We're looking at metrics that tell us how people are actually interacting with our brand.
Give me some examples of those metrics. What are we talking about here?
So it depends on your goals and the platforms you're using.
Okay.
But you might track things like click-through rates on your emails or ads, social media shares and comments, how long people are spending on your website.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so like not just that they click, but what they clicked on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All of that data tells you what's resonating with your audience.
Okay. And then you can tweak and adjust as needed.
I got it. It's all about continuous improvement.
All right, so as we're wrapping up this section, this video, they give this really helpful checklist.
Oh, yeah, the checklist.
20 steps for launching a product or service.
Did you have a favorite step?
I mean, I think it's all important,
True.
but I like that they start with like, know your market,
Yeah. Do your research.
know your competition. Because if you're just trying to be like everybody else,
It's not going to work.
it's not good.
Hello.
What else stood out to you?
They talk about SMART objectives. Have you heard of this?
Oh, yeah. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound.
You got it.
Yeah.
So instead of just saying, I want to increase sales,
Right.
you've got to get specific. I want to increase sales by 15% in the next quarter.
Okay, so make it a goal you can actually track and measure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, they emphasize understanding your buyer persona.
There's Penny again. She's back.
Penny the lawyer. Always keep her in mind.
All right, so what else is on this checklist of marketing magic?
They get into the nitty-gritty of choosing the right marketing channels.
Okay, so like Facebook versus Instagram versus...
Exactly. Creating compelling content.
Mm-hmm.
Optimizing your website for conversions.
Okay, so like making it easy for people to actually buy from you.
Exactly. Don't make them jump through hoops.
No, make it seamless.
And then, of course, tracking your results.
With those KPIs.
You got it. Data is your friend.
Data is your friend. I like it. So it's this ongoing process of learning and adapting.
Always.
Okay. This video also gives some additional tips for boosting engagement, which I always appreciate.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, they talk about creating shareable content.
Oh, yeah. That's huge.
Because if people aren't sharing your content...
It's not really doing its job.
Right. So how do you make something shareable?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
Think about what makes you share something.
Okay. So is it funny? Is it informative?
Is it inspiring? Does it make you think? Does it make you feel something?
Okay.
If it checks any of those boxes, chances are other people will want to share it too.
And we're not just talking about like funny cat videos here.
No.
Yeah.
Although those can be shareable too.
True.
But even if you're a serious B2B company,
Mm-hmm.
there are ways to create content that's engaging and shareable.
Okay. So what else did they mention?
Building relationships with influencers.
Oh, yeah. Influencer marketing. That's a big one.
It can be really effective.
Yeah.
But again,
Yeah.
you have to be strategic about it.
choose the right influencers.
The ones that align with your brand
Okay.
and your values.
Because if you just go with whoever has the most followers...
It's going to feel inauthentic.
Yeah, and people are going to see right through it.
Exactly.
Okay. What else?
And this one should go without saying, but provide amazing customer service.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Because in the age of social media...
A bad review can go viral in a heartbeat.
And then you're in damage control mode.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
make sure your customers feel valued,
Okay.
heard,
Yeah.
and supported.
Right. It's like they always say, happy customers are your best brand ambassadors.
100%. All right, so we've covered a ton of ground here.
We have. My head is spinning in a good way.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of empowering, right? Like we've demystified this whole digital marketing thing.
Exactly. It's not magic.
Yeah.
It's a process.
So where do we even begin? If somebody's listening to this and they're like, okay, this is amazing information, but I don't know where to start.
Start small.
Okay.
Don't try to do everything at once.
Pick one thing.
Exactly.
You're quiet.
Maybe you focus on optimizing your website for SEO.
Okay.
Maybe you experiment with a simple social media ad campaign.
Okay.
Just dip your toes in the water, see what works for you, and then you can gradually expand from there.
So don't get overwhelmed. Just take it one step at a time.
Exactly. And remember, digital marketing is all about data.
Okay.
So track your results,
Mm-hmm.
analyze what's working and what's not.
And don't be afraid to change things up if something's not working.
Exactly. Be flexible,
Okay.
be adaptable,
Got it.
and never stop learning.
This was awesome. This was like a crash course in digital marketing.
It really was.
You've gone from feeling overwhelmed to feeling like, okay, we can do this.
There you go. That's what we like to hear.
Amazing.
Well, on that note,
Until next time.
we'll catch you guys on the flip side. This was The Deep Dive.
Ready to take your online business to the next level? Subscribe to our digital marketing podcast and then join our Accountability for Success Mastermind. With expert advice from industry leaders, you'll gain knowledge and insights that will help you succeed in today's digital marketing world. From social media strategies to search engine optimization, we have all the tools you need. Learn from successful entrepreneurs and take control of your online success. Join the Accountability for Success Mastermind now at bit.ly/AFSM podcast.